Hi, this is Andy from GPS Training. In this next video, I'm going to show you how to send any routes or tracks that you may have saved in your BaseCamp software to your GPS device so you can actually go out and navigate those tracks or routes. So I've already got the GPS BaseCamp software open. I've just minimized it at the bottom of my taskbar on the computer. So I'm just going to double left click on the BaseCamp logo on my taskbar just to reopen up the software. So I've got Garmin's BaseCamp software open now. I've already got my GPS device connected with the USB cable, so in the top left hand window, if I scroll down the bar down the side, I can see under the heading devices my Oregon 700 listed and the internal storage folder of my GPS device. So what we're going to do is look at some routes and tracks that I've already created within the software and just send them to the GPS device. So with internal storage highlighted, I've got a list of routes and tracks already in there that are already on my GPS, but I now want to send some new routes and tracks to the GPS device. So I scroll up to the My Collection, the library in My Collection on BaseCamp software, which is from previous exercises where you save any routes or tracks that you create. There's a couple of ways you can send things to the GPS. If you've created a folder, as I've got a folder called Northumberland here, under my cycling folder, and I've got a couple of different list files in there with more than one route or track. If I wanted to send all of that information all in one go, especially if it's the first time you're planning some stuff in the software and you've created a lot of routes and tracks in one go, you can send everything that's in the complete folder to your GPS in one go. So I could simply right click on the folder named Northumberland, and when I right click on that folder I get the option of send to, and I can select send to and then select to send everything that's within that folder to the GPS device. What I tend to do is send each list file individually, especially once you get into the planning and you've got lots of stuff that you've maybe already sent to the GPS that you don't want to resend. You would individually send what we call a list file, the electronic sheet of paper that's got your route or tracks drawn onto it. So if I go into my folder called Northumberland and select my Rothbury to Alnwick list file, which I can see in the bottom left hand window just has the one route in it called Roth to Alnwick. To send that route to the GPS, I can simply right click on that list file, select the send to, the second option down. And what you should always do is select the internal storage of your GPS, not the actual SD card. If I scroll down to the bottom, I can see that I get the option of devices, and I can see listed there Oregon 700 internal storage. What I don't want to select is the SD card symbol, which is the next one down. I'd leave your SD card just to keep any Ordnance Survey maps or whatever maps you've got on it. The GPS devices, the modern GPS devices, have plenty of storage. All the latest generation of GPSs have storage for approximately 200 tracks and 200 routes, so there's lots of storage on the internal memory of your GPS device. So if I highlight internal storage and simply select OK, the route that I've got in the Rothbury to Alnwick list file will be sent to the GPS device. Another advantage of sending to the internal storage, if you ever had an issue with the SD card that your maps are on within your GPS, at least you would still have a route or track on the internal storage of your GPS to follow. So I'm just going to show one more example. I'm just going to move up to another folder that I've got within this My Collection called Walking, and within there I've got a folder called Lake District, and again it's split down to two list files, Scale Fell and Scales Fell. If I look at the Scales Fell list file, I can see in the bottom left hand window there I've actually got 3 waypoints that I used to create that route with, 3 flag symbols and the actual route itself. Now if I didn't want to send the waypoints and just the actual route, I could right click on the route itself and select the send to and just send the route. But if you're happy to send the actual waypoints as well, we could just highlight the list file. But if I select just the route only and select send to and then the internal storage of my Oregon 700, select OK, it will just send the route. If I did want to send the waypoints, I could have selected just the list file itself in the top left hand window, and then everything that's within that list file, if I'd right clicked on it and said send to, would be sent to the GPS. You can individually click on waypoints, so where I've got this waypoint in the bottom left hand window, SF01 highlighted, I could simply right click on there and just say send to. If I highlight using the arrow up the 3 waypoints I've got there, so I've got all 3 highlighted, I could right click anywhere within that highlighted area and select send to, and then again if I pick my internal storage, it will send just those 3 waypoints to the GPS. If I want to check that those have went to the GPS, I now select the internal storage folder underneath my device name in the top left hand window, and then I can see everything that's in the GPS, and if I scroll down I can now see I've got that SF01, 02 and 03 waypoint. If I scroll down further, I can see I've got my Rothbury to Alnwick and Scalesfell route, so they've been sent to the GPS OK. Always a double check before you go out on a walk when you've got your GPS unplugged from your computer would be to turn your GPS on and use the where to icon, the where to magnifying glass, or if you're using something like a map 64, the find button, and just select either routes, tracks or waypoints depending on what you're looking for, to make sure you have got the route, track or waypoints that you were expecting in your GPS device. So I hope that's been useful on how to send any routes, tracks or even waypoints from list files that you have in BaseCamp software to the internal storage of your GPS device. Thanks for watching this video.